Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making specialist. And today around here is May 29th, which means it is day 75. Here I am. Where are you? Thanks for stopping by. I have been looking for you. And in my looking, I've also been looking out there. I've been wandering around in my yard, and I'm very grateful to be able to do that and to have a yard. And as I was wandering, I kept hearing this chip, 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 chip. And I looked, and right on the front steps to the entrance of our place was a bird. And it was definitely a fledgling. It was large enough that it could fly, and it was still kind of teetering around. And I kept hearing it. And then pretty soon, the other bird, they were starlings, swooped down. And as I watched, the adult starling fed that youngster right on my front steps, and I got to watch so closely. Poop, choop, choop, choop. And there they were in the midst of all of that. And then when I returned and looked on my phone, one of my clients had sent me a message and a photograph, and right on the edge of his finger was a little praying mantis. I had to enlarge it to see what it was on his finger. And he had just taken it and sent it via text message to me in the middle of all the other things going on. And then another client sent me a photograph that her flowers were beginning to bloom, and she sighted her very first hummingbird and captured it. So there were three lovely things going on in the midst of this pandemic and these major decisions and all the other things going on. And then I noticed that I'd gotten a call. I didn't recognize the number. And as I was pushing the little red icon to see if there was any information about the phone call, and it connected and dialed. And so I hung it up instantly, I thought. And pretty soon I got a call from that number, and so I answered it. And it was a woman, and she said, "I don't know who you are." And I said, "I'm Amina." And she said, "Well, your number suddenly showed up on my phone." And I said, "Oh, that's because yours showed up on mine." And she said, "Oh, I must have misdialed." And I said, "And I didn't intend to dial you." And I said, "So here we are, two misdialers. Hello, how are you?" And she said, "I am well." And she said, "Thanks for explaining what went on, because now I know." And she said, "Be well," at the end of the conversation. And I thought, how lovely. There again, in the midst of all the things going on, these small details are also going on. And I told you one of the other videos that I invented and for situations like this, that these little things could be going on and other things going on too. And I gotta tell you, sometimes even for me, putting those events, and with the events of people not getting their unemployment, still of people not getting their stimulus check, still after 75 days where we are, and people not having jobs as they transition out there, that their jobs are changing, that there are still food lines because of people not having enough food, of people dying trying to save other people's lives, of people dying of so many things that are not related to the pandemic, that are actually related to the pandemic, of how we treat one another as human beings because of who we are, what we look like, how we live. And if we're too different from one another, and that's not okay, all of this, those are a lot of ands. And I'm wondering if you, like I, and maybe a lot of us, every once in a while, if we just slow down and exhale and take an eyelash of a moment, if it isn't just bewildering to you too, that all of these different